Gregenstein and Bern guitars are a product of P33 Guitars by Greg Gibson.
So, this is, I'm going to install my humbuckers, my P33 humbuckers, onto my new pickguard. I've already got the bridge ready to go. This is going to be Seymour Duncan style hookup. So what I'm doing is I'm going to install front and back on here. All right. Okay, now that I've got these fixed here, this is actually going on my new Gregenstein Bern that I'm building. And what I'm going to do next is I'm going to put the potentiators on. I'm only going to use two though, even though this is a Strat pickguard. I'll either fill in one hole or the other, because when I play, I don't like my finger hitting the volume knob. So I may move the volume here and the tone here on the bottom. And then instead of a five-way, I'm going to put a toggle switch in here, one for each humbucker, so I can either kill the humbucker or play it, or they can both play at the same time, or just the neck and the bridge, or the bridge. All right, so I'm going to install here first, and then we'll move on to the toggle switches. Okay, I got my potentiators in here, and depending on how you like your sound, I like less treble on my potentiators, so I got A500s for each of these for the tone and the volume. And right now I'm going to set where I'm going to put my toggles, one for each here. So I spaced them out on here like I like them, and then I used a little bit of mark there because I'm going to drill through that. And then I'll have some little screw tops, and I'll either glue them or set them in there to cover up those two holes there. And I believe I have a rubber plug that I'm going to put on here because I like the volume and my tone. I like it away from my hand when I play, because I'm not a Strat fan when you play and the volume pot is hitting your finger when you play. So I move mine over. All right, so that's what we're going to do there. So I'm going to drill this, and I've got my pots on there, so I'm going to drill those and set those in. Okay, installed. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I always use the little notch upwise because I want my toggles to come up straight up and down when the guitar is straight up and down. So these are just set in here now. These are from the five-way switch that I took out of there, and I'll probably just get a little rubber set, a little rubber glue, and set those in there. Right now they're just so I can show you how I'm going to cover that up. And then I've got a mushroom top rubber plug I'm going to put in here to cover that up. So on the other side of this, like I said, I use the 500As because 250s give it more or a little bit less volume in the pot when it travels. So I want a little bit more volume and a little bit more tone. So now I'm going to go to bridge and neck, and I'm going to come into here and then I'm going to come into here. All right, so I'm going to hook them into my toggles first. Then I'm going to go into my potentiator and my, just like a regular hookup. Okay, I'll show you that here in just a few minutes. Okay, so as I get ready to spark up my solder outfit, also wanted to tell you that I'm going to use a treble bleed on here. I'm going to use a chiclet, and I'm going to put a little capacitor in between that to give it just a little bit more flavor. So when I hook all these up here to my tone pod, this is actually going to get just a little bit more of a bleed on this right here. These are just little extra parts that I've picked up here and there that I've tried on some of my other guitars. So I'll take this little setup here and I'll solder everything together, and then those are going to be soldered to my tone potentiator, okay? My tone pot back here. Just a little FYI. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm going from each of my humbuckers on my hot wire on this, going to the center lug on each of my toggles, and then depending on which way my toggle is, if my toggle on the other side is on this position here, it's the bottom lug. So bottom lug front, bottom lug rear, bridge, and into my input. Then I'm going to ground there. This will be to my jack, positive, and then I'll ground it here. And then I'm going to come over from here on my ground. I'm going to connect the tone, just in a nutshell. Okay, I've got my wiring done. This is to my jack lead right here. So I'm good for in here. Next, I'll test my connections, and then later we will install this onto the guitar when I'm done with the guitar body. Now, keeping in mind here, this is my wiring job, but I moved on here to the body, and then you see the burn here. So in the progress of, I took and stripped the body and sprayed the rubber on the back and the front on the heel for the arm. And then this was just the finishing of the pick guard with all the stuff that I wanted to do with it. The coloring of the body, I chose Purple Rain. And keep in mind, when I build these, I usually find a body, and sometimes I get a body and a neck together and redo them. And sometimes I see a body I like, and then I have to find a neck to put on it. And then I just go out and find other pieces and parts, which makes it a Gregenstein. So the pick guard and the pickups, all the little electronics and the custom wiring and, knobs, all that stuff takes me a little time to find that stuff to make the Gregenstein and the burn. But on this head here, I really like that rubber look. Almost looks like skin. Anywho, left a little bit on the head here just to give it the a black splatter kind of thing on the inside. And man, I had a good time building this thing. So off we went with it. Number 28 Gregenstein. Turned out pretty good. Okay, so as with a lot of things, my A500K, I had a default in this one because I had everything on the guitar hooked up, and I kept getting a short. It would come on loud and then not, and then come on loud. So I ended up changing the my jack inside here, and it was still doing it. I looked at all my switches and toggles and everything, and when I took it all apart and started moving things around, it turned out to be the pot, the volume pot. So I replaced the volume pot, and as soon as I plugged her in and strummed it, she came right on. So this is the number 28 Gregenstein, one that I've been showing. So I've got everything on here, my toggle for each of these, volume, tone, put a little mushroom cap on there. This is a hardtail. I have some DR Black Beauties on here, and I went ahead and put the original tuners that were on this guitar. I had to modify everything because when I cut my head right there, I wasn't thinking, and I was looking at the wrong side when I cut the head. So I have a few little things I got to touch up, like this little hole right here, because it stripped off when I was putting the string retaining down, so I had to move it. Anyway, so I've got another little retainer on there, and this is how she turned out. I might have to do another one with this rubber on the whole thing, because I really like that rubber on there. So the Purple Rain and everything. And if you'll give me a minute here, I will play a little tune on it for you. Okay. So number 28. I have a few places I need to clean her up at. I did notice that when I put my glue on, that it went under the, this has got a plastic cover on it, so I'm really hoping that comes off of there and cleans up a little. If not, I'll have to take some black shoe polish, I'm afraid, and try to fix that. So this is neck, add bridge, so I give her a workout a little bit, tuned her up a little bit. It's got some good tone to it. Let's see what this sounds like with my old standard, my standby. Little British stuff. that's pretty nice, crunchy. There she be. Of course, keep in mind when this is stripped off, that'll be not so scratchy and dirty. There it is. Quick build. I'll do another one pretty soon once I get my next body, and we'll see what we're going to do with number 29.